Alright guys, I have a replay here for you. This is actually a game that I played on stream on Saturday. If you have either watched that VOD or you even might have seen this game live when it happened. But this is obviously a Marceau game on Trident 3-cap domination because standard battle is fucking trash. First things first, threats to my ship. No carrier is always nice. Commissar is, well, a carrier bastard child, so sort of no carrier. Buffalo Radar, Z-52, Daring, Holland, and Yugamo for destroyers. Now, this is going to be a bit of a, what's the, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but this is going to be a good bit of an individual example, I guess, but it's also minor spoiler alert. This game has been public for like the past, I think, 2 or 3 days at this point. So, this game's already done happened and it's already like on been streamed and everything. So it's not like the ending to this game is a secret anyway. But this game is going to end in a bit of a unfortunate way, we'll say. And a bit, I guess, if you haven't seen this game, a bit of a spoiler alert, but whatever. First things first, what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at our Z44, and I'm expecting that he is going to be contesting C. So what I'm looking at right here is I want to try and back up my Z44 so he can spot any of these destroyers for me, and between myself and him, even though the Z44 is like an actually fucking tragic gunboat, like it is an actual fucking tragedy how bad Z-44 guns are. But anyway, I digress. Between him, with me behind him, he should be able to take on any of these guys. But unfortunately, this is the caliber of Z-44 player that we have here today. He just walks in and smokes up, and then he just runs off. So that's what we're dealing with right here. Z4 or Z52 does get spotted right there. He is, I believe, in a div. Yeah, he's in a division with the Hindenburg and the Shiki, so it makes sense that they spawn together because they're in a div. Our Z52, who spawned in the middle of the map, decided to fuck off from the middle of the map and head over to here. And, well, I mean, yeah. Imagine eating torps in a hydro destroyer, by the way. But right now, I believe the Buffalo ends up radaring this Yugamo, and I'm just trying to get this guy dead. 1 health, by the way. This is a little bit of an annoying aiming scenario right there because I wanted to get this kill, but I couldn't aim too far ahead or I was really having a hard time aiming there because first of all I couldn't see it. I was trying to use the mini map, but also because I couldn't really aim exactly the way I wanted to because the game has a tendency of trying to think that you're trying to shoot the fucking island instead of the ship that you're locked onto behind it. But anyway, right now our Buffalo is having Hindenburg problems, so at this point the Yugamo is already dead. I see the Z-52 is popping up there as well, but the Z-52 is a little bit of a secondary priority right now because the Z-52 is in smoke. Either it's his own or it's the Yugamo's that hasn't dissipated yet. But this Hindenburg is our top priority because if this Buffalo dies, which he's going to, because I mean, well, Hindenburg has torpedoes. Once that Buffalo dies, nothing. I'm pretty much the only thing that's stopping this Hindenburg from just straight up walking and farming our Montana and the Preußen. And I mean, of course, the Montana and the Preußen can shoot at the Hindenburg as well. But let's be real. Look at where they are. It's a Preußen and a Montana who's on like the H and I lines. Like, what are the chances that these guys are going to actually do substantial damage to this Hindenburg? Especially when he's angled like that. They're just going to shoot his belt and bounce or something. But as of right now, we're actually not looking too bad. Actually, I take it back. That turns out the one guy did get a pretty good hit on the Hindenburg. But we do manage to finish this guy off. And our Z44 is not interested in contesting. I'm actually not sure what he's being spotted by over there. It might be... I don't think it's Z52 Hydra. I think he just straight up shot his guns and he's being detected by his bloom from somewhere. But right now, this Z52 ended up killing ours, which, go figure, ours ate a torp and was at a health disadvantage to start with. So, makes sense that the Z52 lost. And he also, like, kind of barreled in face first as well, which didn't help. We are hard detected right here, which I believe at this point is the Z52, because, I mean, why would I not? The Z52 we know is here, and he does pop up, but, give it a few seconds here. Right here, we are still being detected even though the Z52 is dipped behind that rock. So if this Z52 was the one spotting me, I would have immediately gone dark because I was out of his hydro range and the Z52 was behind an island. So I should have gone dark there. And as soon as I didn't go dark, that told me that this Holland had rotated over, and he was seen on the minimap as well, heading in this direction, but not going dark there is what kind of sealed that I guess suspicion that the Holland had rotated over. So right now we are up a ship, although barely, and we are on double cap, which is not ideal, but we are in a position to be contesting. But the problem is I can't really push right into here because between the Holland and the Z52, they can counter me pretty well because they have such a concealment advantage on me. The Z52 has smoke and can just smoke up in my face while the Holland spots me. Right now, the Holland dips behind that island right there, and the Z52 decides that he's going to try and smoke up, which is fine. He gets a little bit of damage on me, but I do get a pretty decent little chunk of damage on him as well. I'm trying to blind fire him right here, which, fun fact, 99% of players will reverse in their smoke when they're smoking up. So the fact that this guy didn't already puts him ahead of most other destroyer players. So right now the Z52 is smoked up, happy, and farming this Preußen, and what I'm trying to do right now is I'm looking to try and pick an isolated fight with one of these destroyers, not both. I want to pick a straight up 1v1 with one of these destroyers. And that's why I'm using this island right here to block the line of fire from that Z52 for me to be able to fight this Holland one-on-one, which I will win that fight. Even though I am at a bit of a health disadvantage, I will absolutely dumpster a Holland in a straight-up gunfight. But that Holland does have the sense to just not take that fight, so we're kind of back to square one. So what I'm looking at right now is Z52 smoke does not last very long. So this 52 smoke is going to be fading pretty soon. There goes Holland Torps, and you can see it's already fading right there. So I'm just trying to kill this Z52 without the interference of the Holland, who is somewhere up here. So he's not going to be able to help this 52. And it ends up he does manage to clear the island in time, which is a little unfortunate, but I am in a kite-away position, so I am just going to turn out, go dark, and then we're going to re-engage from there. So right now, this is a replay bug, by the way. The scores are being flipped right now. But now with the Z52 gone, that does open up C for me to basically just run right in there, and that Holland cannot fight me. Especially not after taking a hit from a Preußen, which, by the way, that is an HE Preußen. But this Holland is the only thing standing in between me and C. And he cannot take me in a straight up 1v1 because I will absolutely dumpster a Haaland. Even with this kind of health disadvantage, with the build I am running, it doesn't show on there, but as usual, the build will be linked in the description. It's the same Marceau build I always use, but anyway, with the amount of DPM that I have as a Marceau, just first of all for being a Marceau, is the highest sustained DPM of all tier 10 destroyers. Fun fact. I will absolutely wreck a Haaland in a gunfight, so he cannot fight me. So this cap is basically mine, and it's up to this Haaland to abuse his concealment to try and spot me out for this Commissar or one of these battleships to shoot at. But that's not going to happen because they're across the map and they have other things to worry about. Now I do go dark here, and it ends up being that the Haaland went down this way. And I'm actually being faced with a bit of a dilemma right here because I want to be able to grab this cap, but I also have to be as ready as possible for if this Haaland were to get cocky and press W at me. His options are either to go through this channel right here or to go around south. And at this point, I'm thinking that if he's going to greed, he's most likely going to be going through this channel. Not that I really know that, but it's a really weird thing. I just don't think that he's just going to push south because he already got smacked by that Preußen once. The Preußen, of course, has Hydro. It's a Preußen, so its secondaries are nasty, and Haaland torpedoes are not very good. So I am much more of an appealing target for this Haaland than the Preußen would be. I figure he probably just dumped torpedoes out at the Preußen and then turned his attention back towards me. So that's why I was expecting that he's going to be somewhere in this area. And I'm expecting that he's going to be straight up just sitting in B, waiting for me to walk at him, which is what I'm looking at doing at the moment. Our Z-44, by the way, just sailed basically this entire line and killed himself. But Haaland pops up, and this is about to be a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. Even with a substantial health disadvantage, Marceau does not fuck around in gunfights. Even though I did have to limit my DPM a little bit there, because this Commissar is shooting at me. And I had to turn out to dodge those, but this particular, like, what I wanted to kind of show this game, the reason I'm showing this replay is because this is just how you work around concealment disadvantages. Most of the time, ships that are at a massive concealment disadvantage, such as Kleber, Marceau, Mogador, even Utiloi, and Khabarovsk and Zorki, ships like those that are really disadvantaged when it comes to concealment, they are very strong gunboats, and that's kind of like the trade-off. Not always. You do have some pretty absurd detect on some gunboats like Daring, Smolensk, Vampire, Lashun, even if you can count that as a gunboat, but most of the time when you're at a concealment disadvantage, you're going to be in a ship that will absolutely dumpster whatever ship is out spotting you. So what you're looking at doing is you're trying to pick isolated fights with the ships that are out spotting you. In the case of the Z-52 and the Haaland, I was trying to isolate one of them and use that island there to block the shots from the other and get close enough to just literally just run down one of them and dumpster it while the other can't help it because of the island in the way. And that was the plan, and it didn't quite end up working out exactly that way because the Haaland was able to get some shots off, but you know, it is what it is. And this game has turned into a pretty substantial throw because, well, I mean, I don't want to say throw because we kind of were never really winning this to start with. Most of our team just kind of sat around there and donated one at a time. our Z44 was beyond useless. Shimakaze, to his credit, I think spent most of the game on this kind of health and is still alive, so he's done at very least the best he could. But at this point, this game is basically over. So, hold on. We're just going to speed this one up because this game is over. There's no winning it because CV Bastard Child could just spot me. So, honestly, if I had a bit more health and there wasn't a fucking commissar involved, I probably could have made some kind of stand there against 3 battleships just because of my speed. But in this case, we had our Nevsky donate. The Buffalo more or less donated. Our fucking Preußen was shooting in the back, spamming HE, and he still placed higher than most of our teams. So that pretty much tells you about the caliber of players that we're dealing with here. So this was an uphill battle from the start, especially against a full CNTV div. So, you know, it did what we could, but this ultimately ended up being a defeat. But what I really wanted to highlight in this game was just how to deal with your concealment disadvantages, trying to use islands to pick isolated fights, and really just islands in general are your best friend in ships like the Marceau, which, especially the Marceau, where you can arc over them and farm basically for free, but that's a story for a different day. Uh, but I think that about pretty much covers it for this replay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you on tomorrow.